working. Well, hopefully it'll improve in the future.
Yeah.
So, do you remember where we were?
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. So we were no, I don't.
Breaking up lines.
Yes, we're breaking up. Well, yeah, that part. That much I remember.
And it looks like the last commit is introducing two kinds of indents.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, one that had the pipe and one that didn't.
Like first indent and running indent, which probably wasn't the best idea. Maybe. So I see in the diff everything is parenthesized. It's always hard to remember what happened last time. Alright, so
I suppose I should write a failing test. Then we could write the test and then we would know.
Yeah, well, if we knew what this should look like, that would be pretty good.
Well, but even right, I mean, even just a test of like that, maybe just asserted that we were still working on it. Anyway, how about oh, in the commit history? No.
Yeah, did I push that?
I don't know if you pushed it, but it would be local.
Yeah, I guess I need to push this. So, where are we? There is an output line class that is created from nodes or, well, parts. It has two kinds of nodes. One is like just a simple symbol. One is like the wrapper of the grammar node.
Mm-hmm.
And this output line can be split if it's too long. And split either returns none or a list of lines.
Sorry. I'm late.
No problem.
We were just trying to figure out where we left off.
What are we working on?
Splitting lines.
Yeah, we're trying to remember where we left off.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. Okay.
It's like take two, and I still don't really know how to do this. So I wonder if we should look at like black and see how that does it.
Maybe. Do you have an example where the line breaks are going wrong? Is this going wrong? I think this looks pretty nice.
Yeah, I guess that just has the extra parentheses everywhere.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
we can get rid of that. Like extra parentheses here.
Yeah.
It's yeah, this is like not a broken line, so that's fine. Yeah, so I just wonder what the next step should be. Because I did try to look at some parts of the black code, but that's very complicated.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm a bit worried that our code will be just as complicated.
I mean, we don't need. Like, isn't the meta grammar way simpler than the actual grammar?
Yes, definitely. We pretty
So
much
it's probably-
only need expressions.
Yeah, so it
Now
probably won't be
let's-
as complicated. Like, sure, it'll be some degree of complicated, but I don't think it'll be that bad.
So, I mean, I haven't really looked at black too much because I didn't really spend time on this outside the stream. It looks like black has a nodes.py, which looks a bit similar to our code with defining all the different types of nodes.
Mm-hmm.
It has a generic visitor.
Just making sure black is open source, right?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay.
That's GitHub PSF/black. Apparently it tracks white space. We don't really need that, I think. Preceding leaf. Previous sibling. Parent type. Child towards. Oh, so it looks like black has the parent and child links. Like the parent links. We don't have that. Perhaps that would make things easier.
I suppose, yeah. What would that help with, though?
Well, if you know what the parent is, it would be easier to figure out if parentheses are needed. Because currently, whenever we need the parent, we basically need to walk the tree and pass the parent around in an argument. Guess if we could visit a node's parent, well, the parentheses would be easier, and I guess the parentheses, like the need for parentheses, would be part of the node. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, its location in the tree, it would have its breadcrumb.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't know. My first instinct wouldn't be to make it an actual member variable.
Mm-hmm.
I would just make it a property if it should be parenthesized or not. It just basically checks if it's not a sequence, right?
No, it checks. Well, right now there's this format for precedence which adds the parentheses, right? Which looks at the precedence of the node and the precedence of the parent, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
adds parentheses if necessary, right?
So what's going wrong with this? Is it not?
Well, some of them have leading parentheses on the new line. So in other words, in front of the child.
Well, this is fine, except we don't use it in format lines.
Ah.
So
okay.
this is working pretty well. One problem is that it needs to be overridden. Oh, does it? Oh, yeah. Oh, it doesn't?
Yeah.
Oh, we never override that. That's pretty nice. Okay. I thought we had some overriding there at some point.
How do you mean override? Overriding which stuff?
I have a different implementation in some of the subclasses.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because some of the nodes have their own parentheses. Like this optional has square brackets, but it seems there's never a problem with this requiring, or with this you know, being surrounded in more parentheses. I guess that's it because it has the lowest precedence. Yeah, I guess that's the only thing that adds parentheses, like a different kind of parentheses than the usual ones. That's nice. I guess if we would want to break up an optional, we would want to add parentheses around it. Maybe whenever we want to break something up into multiple lines, we just add parentheses around it. Except if it's already parenthesized. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Huh. Well, how do we treat this thing?
Well, that one's doubly parenthesized.
It's not.
Oh, it's not.
This thing is
No,
parenthesized, but that's not. But we still want to get rid of these.
Do we?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, we do. So that's not it. What is the algorithm here?
Well, like about 8 years ago, when I was first learning how to code, I wrote a little calculator app that basically did the reverse of this. So let me see if I can. I remember I converted to Polish notation.
That's
Yeah, like I know it's tangential, but maybe there's something in there we can use, right?
yeah. Well,
I'll skim through the text and see if I can find anything.
well, parsing stuff. I think we have that covered with Python itself.
Yeah, no, you're
It's
right.
the formatting the code back. That's the problem here.
Yeah.
anyway, so we have like a line that has several like tokens or parts in here. It can be split, and it's split by, well, splitting its biggest component.
Oh. Biggest. If we split it maybe by the number of components?
No, I think splitting the biggest component first is good.
Well, yeah. Sure.
Because that gives us stuff like this, right? Where this one is split and the rest is not, which we want.
No, why is it putting parens around single tokens? What part of the code is doing that?
That's a good question.
You mean it doesn't need.
Ah, here it is. We give it the max precedence for the node, which
it should be max, right? Or is it min?
Well, if we get the max for format for precedence, it'll just always give parentheses. Always put parentheses around it. So this is the precedence of the parent node, which we probably should put in here. I'll put the parent node in here. Or maybe parent precedence, since
I say leave parent node just in case we put parent node in all nodes, so we can refactor less stuff and or not have a duplicate field.
Well, let's see if we can come up with a parent node at each point. So line 383. And
okay. You forgot to give it to an
for that line 490, 412, right? So this one, creating an output node ripper in here, and yeah, we need a parent node.
This is a rabbit hole, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You also forgot to add a parameter to init for parent node.
Right. Oh, right.
And setting, yeah, okay, that works. You might as well delete the member variable now that you're only using it for init.
Right, good point. So, okay, so I now need parent node for this from nodes. And it always needs to be specified, which will bite us on line 1365. Where we don't have a parent node here. Right? So yeah, so the parent node can be none, apparently.
Oh wait, no, it's yeah, I was about to say.
So if the parent node is none, then our precedence will be
max.
I think it's
Or-
min. We never want parentheses at the top level.
Oh yeah, that's
Where's-
just yeah.
where's this
Yeah, I was
he
thinking
now?
of the precedence. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Do we? I think we had max.
Is 0
There
meg?
it is. Oh, it's automatic.
Ah.
So we put min in here. Otherwise, it will be the parent's note precedence. Okay.
Okay.
But we do from nodes in other code as well. And okay, here we split into lines. And we split. So the self is the choice that's doing the splitting. So, parent node will be self here. And here as well. And looks like we got some kind of diff. Okay, this thing now fits in a line. That's good. These parentheses are removed everywhere. Oh, this is actually looking pretty good. Stuff now fits in a single line. Wow. Like, well, where the lambda parameters and
great?
function parameters. Ah, that's William.
Wow. Raining hard.
Is it breathing? There's some kind of noise
No, I
coming.
thought- Oh, it sounds like rain.
Rain.
It must be something else.
Okay, anyway, I definitely like what I'm seeing here. So if we look at the statement here, the superfluous parentheses are almost gone. These ones are necessary. That's it's great that they're gone. I guess we just need to get rid of these ones and somehow adjust the breaking up into lines appropriately. But let me put this in Git. And now what's the problem here? So the problem here is that this choice well, the problem here is that these parentheses are not necessary. How do we figure out that they're not necessary?
What is going on with... I think... Are parentheses an operator, or are they just an add-on to an expression?
Yeah, they're an add-on. Basically, what the code does now is there's split into lines method, which is currently only done for container and for sequence.
Right. If it were an operator, it would be a really easy fix. Because we can just set that precedence to max.
Right.
And then everything else we sort of zone down.
Yeah, but these are kind of always added. I guess for the choices, we always want these.
Yeah.
If they're split. Like, I don't see an instance where we want to get rid of them. Well,
oh yeah, I see. Hang on, we can go back to that previous
we
screen.
do want to get rid of them here. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there. So what's happening is the precedence of the sequence that includes that parentheses option, then colon, expression rule, that precedence is lower than the precedence of the alternative, the pipe outside the parentheses. So that's why it's inserting there, because by the grammar, I think that's correct. Is it not?
I think there's something off here. So the problem is that when a node is split into lines, it currently always gets the parentheses, regardless of the precedence.
Oh, okay.
So maybe split into lines itself needs needs a precedence. Maybe split into lines itself needs some kind of precedence to know if it needs to add the parentheses or not. Okay, so we add parent node to split into lines. And then each call to split into lines will need this. Which means this part needs to remember the parent precedence. Yeah, parent precedence, not the parent node itself, because it doesn't always have the node. Formatting these lines a bit better. Okay, so split into lines needs not parent node but parent precedence. Right. The output nodes need the parent precedence. Let's call it parent precedence then. Okay, and now we can use that and the algorithm for whether something needs parentheses is that its own precedence is lower than the parent precedence. And I don't think I can remember that, so what I'll do is define a function for it, or a method. Right.
Okay, I see.
Just to get this out of here. Right, so this should have no changes. And then in split lines we ask if we need parentheses. I think we always need them for choice because that adds the little pipe. Okay, so if we need parentheses for this parent precedence, and we do the same thing as before, and let me break this line a bit. Otherwise, well, let's just not add the parents here, and see how that looks. That looks pretty good. The parentheses here are removed, but we do get an extra indent, which I guess we don't want. So let's remove that indent. How does that work? That works reasonably well, except we don't really want.
Wait, why is it starting the next line with pipe? Shouldn't we just name and then the next one start with pipe? Is that
this one?
different syntax?
Oh yeah, we added the pipe to every option.
Okay. Wouldn't that imply the empty string is also allowed?
It would, unless we say this is how we format our grammar.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So if you look at the full specification, it's formatted like this.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's fine.
And we say that, you know, we specifically do this, but it's only done at the top level.
Yeah, no, I understand why you did it. I just wanted to make sure like it was theoretically sound, right? So just...
Yeah. So we already do this at the top level, and I think we could probably extend it to this as well. It's not that big an extension. But I guess we do need to get rid of these parents as well. But the problem here is we do get an extra line, which I don't really like. we get rid of that line? Need some way to combine that. I mean, this line here is completely empty, so we don't want that. And I guess the problem here is that split into lines has a very weird signature or a very weird return value. And it has an opening opening token or opening part with closing part, and between that it has a list of lines. So
I may be rusty with Python, but don't you need to star that split part to explode it into three things?
It is a triple already. So split into lines.
Okay, so I'm just rusty.
Split into lines returns either none or a triple here. So I guess it would be better if instead of this single symbol, it could return a list of symbols, which then means instead of an empty symbol here, which doesn't make sense, we could return an empty list. And that could help a bit with not adding extra white space, which then means when we use it, well, we wrapped it in a list anyway, so we remove that part. And that didn't really take us anywhere. I wonder if we want to do this textually. Like, if the preceding line fits in the indent here, we just combine stuff. Right. Let's so here, this is all the indent, so we can just combine the lines like that. Remove the empty line. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I guess these parentheses are
Right. I was gonna...
unnecessary. That would be another step.
Yeah.
That looks weird. this thing here looks weird.
It kind of does.
We would need to remove this this part. Maybe move into something like this. Does that look reasonable?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Right, I'm worried that this is not the right time to do like changes at the textual level. So here we output the lines. Like this is generate rule lines in the tool. And I guess we can combine the lines here. Okay, so how would that work? We need to go through each line in the input lines, and if I just yield the line now, I should get no change. Here, what did I do? Right, so just so I don't get that much of a diff, let me put things in Git without this. Right, so things are looking a bit better now, and the change here was omitting empty symbols pretty much. Yeah.
Would it be okay to add us as co-authors? Or whatever?
So this will all be squashed in the end. So the most important thing here is to get your name in one of the commits that will make it to the pull request at the end, and you're definitely in one of those.
Okay.
I don't know about William, but yeah, we should get you on there. So now let me Control Z back to combine lines, and there's no diff, so this is working good. So what we do here is we need to remember the current line, and then we yield the current line, set it, and at the end we yield another current line. And we yield the current line if it's not empty. Strip. Huh. Guess if it has no parts, it's not a string. I'll just set the first current line to none. So if okay, still not good enough, because the indent, not just the parts, are are important. So yeah, let me go back to strings. Convert everything to string. Oops. String of line. And strip it here again. And what that will do is remove the empty lines like this one, hopefully. Yep. And now what we do is combine the lines if so we look at the length of the previous line, and if all of that length is only spaces, then we remove the spaces and join the current line with the previous one. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Right. So let's call this new line instead of just line, right? And now if let me do that again. So I have this, and let's say this is the previous line or current line, and this is the new one. So I want to remove these spaces, right? So I look at the new line, see if the first part, that's as long as the current line, if that is all spaces, and if it is, I get rid of this part, take the remainder and join it to the previous line. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so if new line from the beginning to the length of the current line is all spaces, so convert it to a set and check if that set only has the space character in it, right? And if so, the current line will become the current line plus, or plus equals, the rest of the new line, right? And I won't output anything, and I will not update the current line, so this all goes in the else block. And I do need to convert this to a string. First thing I do, because I'm doing this textually. And hopefully now the lines will be smushed together like that. Does that make things better?
I think it does. It seems like it's more consistent with everything else.
The position of these symbols in this like grid is maybe a bit confusing.
Well, yeah, that indent. It would be nicer if it was more like one below. And we're indenting. We have multiple indents there because we had.
Yeah, there are multiple indents in here for some reason.
Looks like we have maybe 2 or 3.
When? Okay, so let me commit this. I'm really bad at typing today. Together. Right, so where do we add indents?
Between the nodes?
So there's a first indent and there's the running indent. And when we split an output line, when we do split into lines, we add an indent in here. Maybe that's the culprit. Right? Looks reasonable.
Yeah, we got pick up one of them.
So split into lines for a choice adds indents. Let me break this up. It's more readable. So when we split up a choice, we add an indent here, and I guess we could play with this. We add pipe space for the first indent, and we add space for the rest, which I guess is good. We could add one more space here to indent things within the brackets.
Oh yeah.
Oops. Oh, since I added the space, the lines are now smushed together. Which I guess we could disable for the first option, right? So this, if I is bigger than 0, otherwise we just give it 3 spaces.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, so this is, some style guides discourage this, and
Oh, I'm sure they do.
write this, like if I'm testing for 0.
Oh yeah.
But in this case, since I is a number, I prefer.
I thought 0 wasn't falsy.
Yes.
0 is not false.
0 is falsy.
Oh, 0 is falsy. Okay.
So this is basically if I is not 0, right? We want to we want this, or well, we want this for the first item, and this for all the rest. Right, so you could write it like that.
That seems Pythonic.
But I think this one is clearer in this case.
Yeah, I prefer the explicit greater than.
Yeah.
Oh. I think you guys are just speaking Python with the JavaScript accent.
I mean, this looks too much, but
That's the C++ accent.
Okay, so I switched them around, didn't I?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Have the more common case up front.
Well, let's have the first case up front. Okay, I like the direction this is going.
Yeah.
Right, and I guess there's one more place where we add indents, and that's for the sequence, which adds another indent if it's adding parentheses. Which I guess is good. I don't know if this actually happens, but let's put this in Git. And the reason I want to put it in Git is to look at the diff when I change this indent. Does that indent actually appear anywhere? No, it does not. Okay, so this never happens. Apparently a sequence is never split.
Never, or never in this example we're again?
It's never split so that it needs parentheses because of precedence. Right, so if I put something here in the indent, we can see where a sequence was split. Let me put this one, let me put it in this one as well. And see if we can find one of the hour here. So
Oh, nice. Wow.
that's a sequence that was split. Right? That's a sequence that was split. And the whole sequence is here. And just one part of it was actually split. Okay. But apparently this never happens. I wonder if I should leave the code in.
Probably not if it never happened.
Or should I assert?
Or should we write it? Should we convert it into a test? Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, well, do you want to put assert in production code? Maybe we should put it in a test.
Well, this being an internal tool, I'm pretty sure it will always be run in asserts on mode.
Okay.
But yeah, we could also phrase a value error.
I mean, we have a test. We have a test file over there in the. There's a test.test or text. Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, we do, but I would need to come up with a case where this happens. Otherwise, the test would.
Yes, I see.
So yeah, let me do this. To do. This apparently.
Is not a thing.
Okay, yeah, let's do that later. Right, so back to this. What's the problem here? Maybe we should lose the parentheses here. Right? So that means asking if self needs parens for choice here. So what that would mean is if we need parentheses, we do the same thing as before. If we don't put parentheses there, and we need one less space of indentation. How does that look? Maybe we do add
That's fine up.
the
Yeah,
pipe
well.
in this case.
Yeah. I think that's better. I mean, there does seem, we're bike sharing here. There does seem to be a lot of space between the first parentheses on that line before name.
Like this one. Yeah, that's so that it's aligned here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, we can remove that. That's
Oh my
this
God.
part here, right? No problem. But
Bruno, what do you
yeah,
guys think?
this I guess my preference might be this. Now this looks too. These symbols all look too similar, right? So
Oh,
this
yeah, they do.
the pipe here does need to be indented just a bit more.
Yeah.
But if I indent that pipe, then the first thing is not aligned with the rest, which makes it really confusing.
Yeah.
Like this part here, that's like a checkerboard of symbols now. So yeah, so we need to put some space back. This is just 2 spaces.
Is there any impact on screen readers in any of this? Or we're not worried about that?
I should be worried about that, actually. But I'm not sure how screen readers deal with symbols, like in grammars.
I have no idea. But I don't think I can. So
realistically, we should be worried about that because that's a pretty significant part of computation. In reality, we probably won't because I don't know. That's the standard, Hadley.
yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I will ask around.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if that's. Yeah, we definitely would need, I guess, a screen reader user to give their opinion. And so the point of this is to improve the existing documentation, which looks like this.
Oh yeah,
right?
Sure.
That looks
Now it's
exactly.
actually hard for visual people.
I mean, I think to a screen reader user, these would look pretty much the same.
I will ask in the Emacs community because Lisp is very sensitive to indentation and formatting. So if anyone has had to deal with that.
And I wonder if we want to to only drop the parentheses on the top level. Or if we just go by the precedence.
I mean, the thing about having the parentheses at the top level is that it tells you that it's a sequence. Right, you know what I mean? In other words, as you're reading, you know that it's going to be a sequence.
Maybe.
No?
Personally, I would always assume it's a sequence by default, but maybe I'm the one that's weird.
Well, I meant like a list of choices. In other words, like down below, it's not a list. Like the second thing where it says single target, it's not a list of choices.
Well, there's 3 choices, right?
There's 3 choices, yeah. But I mean, the first choice. Yeah, I guess the first choice is a list of choices. No? Isn't that...
The first choice?
Oh, I'm sorry. In assignment.
Oh, in assignment. Right,
in assignment,
here.
The first choice is a list of choices.
The first choice is
so
sequence. This is a sequence that has choices, and then this these extra stuff after the choices.
Okay. Maybe we should have the other stuff before. Oh no, but the precedence is significant. Is that right? Like maybe we should have name at the end, so then we don't have to do not name at the end, but maybe we should have the single target as the very first case.
We can't really reorder stuff.
Okay.
The order is significant.
Yeah. Okay, well then.
So does this look like the best we can do?
I don't know, man. I mean,
it's not bad.
Is it better than what we had before? It is, isn't it?
Well, that was an entirely different grammar. I mean, what we can do now is just take a look at everything and see how it goes.
Okay.
I think this is a Sphinx thing, where it adds these 2 spaces here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's in the yeah. That's probably in the.
Let's see.
In the HTML formatter.
Yeah, that's a little bit annoying. Let's see.
There's probably a Jinja template somewhere.
Oh no. Oh.
No.
We can get rid of that. Nice.
Oh.
Okay.
Ah.
Oh, but that's
right.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we also need to. Oh, that fits it.
This is.
Wow.
This is good.
Yep.
Okay. Nice. Better put this in Git. What actually changed?
Yeah.
Everything.
Quick before it disappears.
Oh, this is 2 changes now. Oh, that makes it much more pleasing, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so maybe we should just go through everything now and see where we are, because we have been looking at a single example, which is kind of complicated, and see if there are any like really bad cases where we do need to improve stuff. So yeah, top level is just very simple. This all fits on one line. Compound statements. This is great. And this fits on one line. This is good.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I would do here is this. Like, if the top level is a choice that needs to be broken into lines, then I would like to format it like this. But Sphinx doesn't really allow that. We would need our own. Like, we would need to ditch Sphinx's whatever it's called, directive for the grammar.
RST? Oh,
just formatted ourselves, including the links, which is just a pain.
Oh man, no way. No.
Might come to that. Okay, no line breaking here. This is old. No line breaking here. Ooh, nice. No line breaking here. I wonder what would happen if the line length was just a little less. Where do we do that? Available space? Oh, we need to get rid of one more space here. Well, let's do -5 here. Didn't do anything to the 4. It did something to interactive, which is okay. But it yeah, didn't break up the 4 here. It's not good. I mean, it does fit, but just barely. I wonder if it's not broke. Why it's not broken up? Oh, we should have some line too long warnings as well. Oh, we still have some line too long warnings. We're not splitting up sequences properly. Ah. Okay, that's something to look at next. Okay, so this try statement, continuing with, you know, looking at the formatting if it did get split nicely. So what does this do? So there's something like a sequence first, and then there's a choice after that. Do you like this formatting?
Not really, but I also don't know how to fix it. So.
And if we put the initial...
No, I'm alright. I think that it's I don't know.
If we put the initial pipe back in... Yeah.
I sort of think the initial type is better.
Is it?
Well, let's see.
Actually, the more I stare at this one, the more I like it because it kind of mirrors the actual syntax. was trying an indented block, then.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, down below the block. Yeah.
I mean, it does take some getting used to.
Yeah, like it's not intuitive right away, but and also the indented block that would be the body is actually the finally block instead. So that actually I think is more confusing than actually helpful.
Which one?
Like on the surface level, it kind of actually looks like a try statement, right? There's the try.
Right.
Yeah. But then the more you look at it, the more like the parts are all in the wrong place, because the body is actually in the block up in the first line, and the body the thing that looks like a body is actually the finally block, and then there's an except after the finally, and yeah, it doesn't line up at all.
So how should this be formatted? How would you format this? And I assume this doesn't all fit on one line.
Probably not yet, no.
Right?
Maybe change the order so the accept is first instead of the final.
Oh, we're not changing order.
No. Like, there's alternatives, right? So it's either.
It is either or, but if the first alternative matches, it has precedence. So the order matters in grammars.
Oh.
We're not too strict about this. Well, I think the current implementation is pretty strict about this. Like, we don't reorder stuff.
No.
I mean, one thing you could do is split this sequence like that. Does that make sense? How do you like this?
I think it is in this most simplified form. I don't think there is anything we can do to the expression without changing its meaning that would make it clearer. So I think we just have to accept that that's how the block looks for this.
I mean,
your sound is very muffled, Blaze.
It doesn't really. Oh, sorry. So part of it is I'm mumbling, and also I was away from. I was not in front of the mic.
I mean, yeah. One thing we could do is do this and that.
Yeah.
Right, we can like separate stuff and then go like one more level. Undo that optimization. Right, and when you put all this on separate lines, it should fit, right? So that's probably the best way to format this.
That's really nice.
So I'm actually gonna have to leave now. I don't think I have anything else to say, so I hope you guys find a solution.
Thank you. No, we'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll see you next week.
Bye. See you next week.
All right, man. Cheers.
So this is the ideal, but I don't think we can get there. Well, probably the best way to get there is to disable the optimizations or disable the simplifications, because this is, I think, actually what's written in the grammar. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, so that's just vanilla.
Yeah, so the way to get here is disable simplifications on this rule, and I think that's specific to this rule. We might have a to-do for it. Yeah, don't simplify try statement.
Okay.
Now the next question is, do we want to simplify it for the diagram? That thing we're here for.
Not really. I don't know what we do.
So anyway, there is... Oh, go ahead.
Three scenarios. There's three scenarios, right? There's accept.
Yeah. Under the diagram, this looks good. Right, but in the text, this choice at the end is really weird.
Yeah.
And I guess for the diagram, the finally block should also go to here, or this whole thing can be skipped and go directly to the finally block. It's just
exactly.
It's just not optional in that case. So the line would need to go like after this. Yeah. Right. So how would that look in text? Yeah, I don't know.
It would be on its own line at the end. Oh, I see. Else block line.
Right, you can skip this part, but then you can't skip this. And we didn't find a good solution for that problem. Right, so yeah, so the best thing to do here is to skip simplification, then it would be nice. There is one thing I see here, which is the empty line at the end, and I think I know exactly what's causing that. We only want to yield the current line if there is something to yield.
Oh, I see. Okay, right.
Okay, so this is pretty bad, but it was bad all the time. Let's see. Now here, the async width has exactly the same problem with the choice at the end. So, how would you simplify this thing? Or how would you format this thing? And put it all like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, yeah. Close to that. Something close to that. Because it's basically an optional async, and then you've got your width. And then you've either got, 1, 2, or 3.
Right, so the indent should depend on how far this... Oh.
Oh, it's not just like the number of nodes. Like we can't do like 1, 2, 3, and then. Oh, I see. Right. We don't.
Well, the problem here is if the indent is too big, then the line needs to be split, right? So, I mean that's something that could get its algorithm, but it won't be easy to get there.
What if we had a async and then a carriage return and then with and then the list of choices, something like that.
Like this.
Something like that, yeah.
And then I guess it would be all split.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually, that doesn't seem to. I don't know. Maybe my eyes are lazy, but it's easier for them to go up and down than it is to go side to side.
Okay, that looks reasonable. How was the previous thing? The previous thing was just too long and not split. Okay, so I guess the rule would then become if we're not splitting so if we're splitting a sequence and we're splitting something other than the first thing in that sequence, we should put each element on its own line. So for the try, it would do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then maybe these parts could stay on the single line.
Yeah, because that's basically one element.
Do these stay on that line? No, it's clear like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. How would that work for our assignment example in here? So that would put these parts here. Huh.
That's not too bad. Although line 26, maybe pull line 26 up to, append it to the end of line 25. What do you think?
Is that clearer?
Well.
Is it clearer here?
Yeah. I think it is, actually. No, maybe not. Oh, but they're different. Because they end with, they don't have, oh, I see. You've got really nested sequences.
This one is also the same. Okay, so the thing that gets broken up shouldn't share lines with the rest of the sequence?
No, maybe it's better the other way. It should probably share lines with the rest of the sequence, because it is part of the sequence. Right, yeah.
But the thing that precedes the thing that's broken up should not share the line with it.
Right. Yeah, because you're reading at the beginning, you're basically, you're basically EQing, you're basically working, you're iterating along, and then you've got something, and then you go to a new line, you've got something new, and then you keep going until it's over, and then you've got the new line, and you start the next thing.
Okay, let's see where that is in the code. I wonder if I can find that. So that gives us this for the try. Which I think is much better. We get this for the width. So async width on its own line, and then this follow up here. How do you like that?
Oh, I like it because it feels like it has that flow that I sort of described, where you've got something, and then, in other words, the first line is basically the beginning, and then you've got a bunch of things that follow, and then those things end with the block.
Right, and is that better than splitting this as well? Like,
oh, that might actually be better. Because, oh well, no, because it's part of the sequence, right? The colon. Well,
I mean, the other thing we could also do is like put the closing parentheses at the end of the previous line. Let's look at the
I don't know about that.
try here. Oh no, the tries. Oh, the try got the else block and finally block separated. And this is weird. I think I can.
Oh yeah, that is kind of strange.
I think I can get rid of that, but it is weird. Yeah, if this closing is empty, it needs to not be there.
Not be there ever, or just in that case? Just in the output line closing. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
So we need this. Then, if there is an opening, then we can append that. Then we extend with inner lines. Then if there is a closing, then we append this part, and then we do append that. And maybe we should do the if on this as well. Or maybe just not. Output empty lines. We need to do that. And the problem with doing that is we're baking the pipe separators in the indents, and so this first indent needs to the first indent needs to go to the first thing that well, the first indent needs to be there in one of these, basically.
Right. Of course.
Yeah, the indentation code is confusing now. Now let's go back and this part. Now I guess this only needs the running indent because the first indent is always there. That should do it. That should do it, and now we don't even need the if because of the post-processing, do we? Yeah. Okay, so this is how the try looks now. As I said, this is better if it's not simplified. The async width. How are you satisfied with our async width now?
I like that because it's clear that it starts with a width and the async is optional, and then the next thing is the stuff that follows the width, and then it ends with a colon and a block.
Yep.
I mean, probably it's possible that wiser people would disagree, but that's just.
And this is a very complicated way of saying.
That's true. That is a mess.
This
yes, that part
comma separated with item, optionally optionally surrounded in parentheses, right?
That's true. That part is pretty common. I mean, we could maybe break that up. But I'm not sure how that would work because.
No, I mean
I
this.
Break it after common. Yeah.
Maybe it happens often enough that we just need like a syntactic macro, right? Something like that.
Yeah, and then everybody knows what that means. Oh, now when you say comma separated optionally in parens, does that need to be in parens? Or?
Yeah. This is the way to spell it out, right?
I see, comma in parens. Okay, got it. parens around comma separated. Okay, got it. Yeah.
And then this pattern occurs a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's almost like it's easier to read the syntactic macro because it's a single string, and then you can represent it in your head.
Yeah.
Whereas this is lots of little blocks with lines. By the way,
I mean,
how are you doing
we
on
also
that?
also have a shortcut for the gather here, right?
Oh.
Like this thing, that's not like formal grammar you would find in a textbook. That's something Python defined for itself.
Okay.
Right, this dot here, like this is comma separated with item. Looks nice in a syntax diagram or in a railroad diagram. Unlike this whole thing.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe it just needs its own operator. Like, you know.
Right.
And then we say this exclamation mark means this and that. But yeah, maybe it's better to leave it like this. Let's see how it's written in the grammar. Alright, it's written out.
Oh, look, they have it.
It's
Comment,
four cases. And maybe that's the best way to say this.
Sure. That's actually not bad the way it is, because, like you said, it's just the 4 cases, and the type comments show up as, you figure it out. And,
oh, the type comments get removed.
oh, those get removed?
Yeah, type comment
I
is
see,
not part of the grammar.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I guess we need to do less simplification for the text and keep it just for the diagrams, because I mean, async being optional looks really nice when it's written like this, right? So you don't have to compare the rest here. And the width and the colon block being merged together, that looks really nice in the diagram, maybe not so nice in here. So the best way to rewrite this would then be as 2 cases. One would have the first path here, and the other one would have the second. Right? But what's the algorithm to figure out when it's better to merge it and when it's better to leave it separated? I don't know.
Maybe whether they repeat, whether the lines repeat. Or how similar they are. Async with.
I don't know. But I guess it's time to put this all in Git again and leave the question open for next week.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and sync my fork. Maybe I can mess around with it as well after you do your push.
Here's the push. Thanks for your input and see you next week.
Oh, it's my pleasure. This is the highlight of my week. Yeah, thank you.